Welcome to Good Libations, our show about mixology, about making creative drinks and putting our own nuances on drinks that might be considered common and making them unique. And again, I'm Ethel Andrews. I'm a mixologist / bartender. And I say that because sometimes the term mixologist sounds a bit pretentious, but bartender sounds a bit too rudimentary, so combination of both. And as you know, I love tropical drinks. In fact, I have kind of a penchant to making tropical drinks. And the problem with most tropical drinks, they're made with mixes, they're sickly sweet, and they've ruined the whole idea that Trader Vic's had when they first started pioneering the idea of tropical drinks. And this particular tropical drink that I'm making is more Caribbean oriented than South Pacific, because most tropical drinks originate in the Pacific from Hawaii or Samoa or Fiji. And this actually is more Caribbean, more Jamaica, and more specifically Trinidad. It's an interesting drink, in fact, because it has several flavor profiles to it. And again, I call it the Caribbean Queen. And what we're going to do, first of all, is we're going to add golden rum. And I already had the presence of mind to add ice to the shaker. And the shaker is only a medium because actually this drink is served over ice and generally in a taller glass, but we're going to use the cat glass. So we're going to add the golden rum. Clear rum doesn't have enough flavor and dark rum overpowers this particular drink. So golden rum, it shall be. And then, in addition to that, we're going to add some coconut rum. And that is actually a nice nuance for this drink. And then we're going to add something unique here. We're going to add watermelon infusion. And we're doing this for a purpose because we're going to muddle cantaloupe and all these alcohols. And you may figure, well, why cantaloupe when this is watermelon? Well, cantaloupe and watermelon play off each other very well. That's why they're often used in fruit salads together. So we're adding the watermelon infusion here, not liqueur, but infusion. And then we're going to add some cantaloupe here. And we're going to muddle it. And we're not adding a magnanimous amount, just enough that we can get the flavor in the drink. And again, you don't have to go out and purchase a muddler. You could simply use a wooden spoon of some sort. And you're going to have to add a bit of power, to your muddling in this particular case, because you're muddling cantaloupe, which is not a soft thing. So it isn't like you're just going to bruise it a bit, but you're going to rather heavily muddle it more towards pulverizing to get that cantaloupe flavor in there. So I think we have accomplished that. And again, this drink requires fresh lime. And I'm going to go ahead and cut into a new fresh lime here and do that very thing. And like I mentioned before, if you have trouble extracting juice from the lime, you could always roll it or microwave it. And this one is fairly cooperative, but I'm going to quarter it because it's a little bit easier to squeeze when you quarter it. And hopefully without quartering my finger. And again, this drink does require fresh lime. And hand squeeze it. Yeah, you're not going to get as much juice, but you'll get the infusion from the peel, and it will add a dimension to the drink that you would never have, had you not hand squeezed it and got that infusion from the peel. So you're getting your lime juice in here. And again, if the lime is a little dry, just add more. That's all you have to do. And then we're going to add some orange, and this is bitter orange. But in a way, it's a good idea because the, two of the things that we added, the coconut rum and the watermelon infusion are a little sweet, and we don't want this drink to be sickly. So we're going to go ahead and add bitter orange, add a little bit more of the juice, and then, after I dry my gooey hand here, we're going to add some pineapple juice. Because, again, this is a tropical drink, and that kind of goes with the whole picture. And this is a drink, again, that kind of is an ode or a paean to Trinidad rather than to the Pacific. Boy, that was a tough cap to get off. So we're going to go ahead and add a good slug of pineapple juice for this lovely tropical drink. And I'm going to make sure, after I shake it and divest it over more ice, that we have a sufficient amount of rum in it. Everything is always an experiment because I free pour and don't measure, which I prefer to do, but you can measure if you wish. It can vary, but I actually like that aspect of it, that these drinks are never cookie cutter. They're always slightly different, and I like that. So anyway, as soon as I shake it and then divest it into the glass with ice, because it is served over ice, then we'll analyze it and see if it produces what it is supposed to produce. So here we go. All right, now at this point I'm going to taste it and see how it is. That's pretty balanced. All the ingredients are in perfect balance. You can taste the watermelon, but it doesn't overpower. The rum is the biggest accent, which it should be, and the coconut rum is still there. And also you're getting the orange, you're getting the lime. So all the nuances are there, and the cantaloupe is there too. So again, this is quite a worthy drink. The Caribbean Queen. And again, this is a drink that I consider to be an ode to Trinidad. And one of our best basketball players, Kareem Jabbar, who used to be known as Lou Alcindor, was from Trinidad. And also there's several actors and actresses and musicians from Trinidad as well. So what a worthy drink. And again, for a garnish, we will add a bit of lime and a bit of orange, just for appeal. And you can also add a maraschino cherry or a real cherry to this if you would like, mainly for appearance sake, if for no other reason. Boy, that is not cooperating very well, as far as cutting. So here we go. And a little bit of the orange. The Caribbean Queen. And like I said, I love tropical drinks, and I love Caribbean-oriented ones rather than just ones that have to do with the South Pacific. Another nuance. And again, thank you for tuning into our program, Good Libations. I'm Ethel Andrews, a mixologist. And as I always mention, please be careful. When you enjoy your drinks, make sure that you are very cautious, that you're not going to drive if you've imbibed above your limit. Make sure that you have a designated driver or that you're going to use Uber or Lyft or whomever, to get yourself home. We want to keep our community locally safe and well spoken of. In fact, any community that we live in should be kept safe. And drunk driving is extremely dangerous. Many people have been severely injured and lost their lives because of the irresponsibility of a drunk driver. And to me, it doesn't show me any compliment if you over-imbibe. It just shows me that you're greedy, but you're not really enjoying the drink. So think about all those factors. And thank you again for tuning in. I'm Ethel Andrews, and this is Good Libations, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.